Right, finally, part 4, which I'm guessing might be the last part of the Kyosho Optima Mid restorations, and here they both are. So there's this one which didn't have a body shell, but it did, but it was a wreck, and it got thrown away. And there's the insides. So we've got new battery, new steering servo, new receiver, some new battery straps, and some makeshift battery holders, which are made out of styrene plastic. So yeah, there's that. I got some reproduction Optima wheels from JC Racing, I think they're called. So they're the original ones that came on it. And these are the tyres that came with that. I just reused them for this one instead. A Tamiya bumper, as you can see there. it works. A stock Tamiya silver can, and a Tamiya TBLE O2S speed controller. It doesn't need to be fast, this one. So it's got the smallest of all the pinions, and it's got the slowest of speed controllers. So, plus it doesn't have any oil in the shocks because one of them has a blown seal, and so I don't really want to put oil in, 3 of them, because that's a bit stupid. Unfortunately, I don't have the remote control with me, so I can't even just show them. Hang on, let me get the remote. What is this? Whoop. Oh. I think there's the remote, which I showed off in obviously the parts video. Let's get these plugged in. This one, I don't know if I've actually mentioned this in one of the other videos, but it had an annoying problem with the rear diff, or the rear gearbox, and it took me days to fathom what it was. Like, you'd turn it, and it would get to a certain spot, and then it was like, and it would be kind of like that. Like it would click in a very specific place, and it took me ages to figure it out. Despite the fact that I'd cleaned the gears, eventually I was so relieved to find out what it was. As a small piece of metal shaving caught between 2 teeth, so that every time the teeth got to it, it just kind of like, and then I can't believe it. Even though I cleaned the gears and like I cleaned all the teeth with a toothbrush and everything, it obviously didn't come out. So that was kind of annoying. So yeah. Part of me was thinking about painting this bit black. I don't like how this looks, to be honest. But we'll see. So there's the power button for the... Oh yeah. For some reason, you have to turn this on first before the car. So if I turn this on first, and then turn this on, it doesn't sync. But if I turn this on first, then turn this on, it syncs. Although I'm not quite sure why that's flashing green. I have to figure that out. But yeah, now it works. And so yeah. The wheel's a bit wobbly, but you can see how much movement is there. Although that's in the cup. That's the cup. Well, not the cup. The the drive cup moving inside, and like the bearings and everything. The upright isn't moving. It's the drive cup inside the upright. So that one does work perfectly fine. Like I said, no oil shocks. But I was about to say, I'd like to mention something else, but I can't actually remember what it was. Oh, yeah. I bought the wrong one. I bought 2 long wheelbase gear covers or belt covers, but this is a short wheelbase, and something I didn't even notice at one point. So I tried to trim it in such a way that like it would just leave a small gap. Unfortunately, that did not quite work. Hopefully, though, you shouldn't get anything caught in that. Hopefully, if it does, I'll just tell the fella to come back, and I'll obviously get a proper one. But yeah, and I really do not like what Kyosho did. There is just no room in this to do anything. I hate it. I just don't like it. If I ever do get a Kyosho, it'll be a on-road car, most likely, with a proper chassis. So we'll put the body on, which is also very fidgety, like that. And yeah, there we go. And that does not look too bad, especially considering what it looked like to begin with. So it's there. And now we have the Optima Custom Special. This one's a bit better. This one's a little bit faster. Has a higher, bigger pinion. Also has a Tamiya motor, same battery, same servo, same receiver. Only this time it has one of the newer speed controllers that come with the newer Tamiya kits. I think this one's rated for like 15 turns. So if he does want it to go faster, I can put slightly faster motor in it. Tamiya Hotshot tyres and egress wheels, also from JC Racing, which I actually think these look pretty neat, if I do say so myself. Oh, that's what I was going to say about that other car. I'll mention that in a minute. Unfortunately, I did stupidly buy a battery with one Tamiya connector when really I shouldn't have. But I was thinking along the lines of, well, if I bought a battery with a T connector, he wouldn't be able to charge it. But then I later found out that his old charger actually has a T connector to Tamiya adapter. Or the other way around, I can't remember. So I could have actually charged a T connector battery with a Tamiya charger. So, oops. Yeah. So I've got this in there, which is kind of irritating. I might try and get a zip tie around there, just to sort of hold that down. Because, yeah, it's not that much length, it's just that. But it is a bit annoying, and that should actually just sit down there quite neatly when the body's on. So I did what I can with the insides of these. This one was a bit better. It had a proper like bottom to the chassis. But what I've done is I super glued some styrene sheet just here in order to double-sided tape this, because there is a gap, there's a hole under there. There wasn't enough surface area to stick. And something that didn't show is that I had to get a bit creative with this one. Is that the speed controller is cable tied upside down, because there was literally nowhere else to put it. I mean, technically speaking, this is how it's supposed to be. Back in the day when this came out, apparently there was a servo type speed controller that you'd actually screw in here in a similar fashion to the servo. So I just thought, oh, yeah, I'll just put that in that upside down, and it kind of works, and it still looks quite neat. Yeah, still a bit cables everywhere, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, original Kyosho bumper, still got the original under tray, which is a bit scratched, but what can you do? Oil-filled shocks, which are actually filled with oil, because thankfully none of these leak. I had to fill these up with oil several times to kind of get the right feeling to each one. So yeah, original. I did kind of sand off all the gold colour from the tops, because these were quite badly damaged with a lot of paint chips anyway, so I thought, well, I'll try and make them look a bit nicer by sanding off the gold and just giving them a bit more of a uniform colour. What else? Well, there's the drive belt cover and the gear cover from Penguin Vintage, apparently. I can't quite remember what this is. I don't know if this was a Carson one, but this is basically exactly the same as the Hobbywing 1060. The one that always seems to have problems, like, you know, cutting off problems. But I haven't had a problem with this yet. And like I say, this one can take much faster motors than the Tamiya one. So if he wants it faster, he can. Diffs, yeah, it's okay. That one's quite okay. These are both fully bore raced, thankfully. This one also has a very nice front diff. This one is locked. There's a reason for that. I believe these both have two different types of like cups, the way they connect to the diff. And they both have ball diffs on the back, and I think probably the front as well. That one uses grub screws to attach the cups to the diff. It's nice and easy. Whereas this one uses the type where you slot one into the other and then you tighten it with a screw. The problem is, if it's not tight as fudge, they don't come into contact with the diff. And so you've basically just got freewheeling wheels and front wheel drive. What I believe is... what's that? No. What I believe has happened is that there used to be a thrust bearing in it that goes in with the screw, which would explain why I saw two tiny ball bearings come out of this when I took it apart. And I couldn't find any more ball bearings anywhere. So either they got gobbled up somewhere, or this was taken apart and they were lost. So what I've had to do is, for now, thread lock that screw in as tightly as possible so that this is constantly locked. Which is not ideal, but thankfully this is the worst of the two. Like, you know, it's the slowest one, it's got the slowest pinion, it's got the older tyres, you know, that kind of thing. This one kind of has, this is kind of the better of the lot. So, yeah, with the new wheels, new tyres, bigger pinion, speed controller that's capable of actually faster motors. I've attached the bottom tray on with the body posts there that came with that parts tree that I bought. So I had to make those holes, and that went on there really nicely, so that's now nice and solid. I did put some double-sided tape on here, which is what you're supposed to do, but yeah, it's not sticking. So, and this bit is supposed to come round and up, and then you screw this in using these, but it snapped. So that's a no-go as well. See, that's supposed to be sticky as well, but yeah, it's not doing a very good job. It shouldn't matter though, but I probably could have actually just trimmed this off a bit just so it was less flappy. But yeah, let's plug this one in. Now, this one again, actually, oh shit, I left this on. You can sync the car and the controller, but if you turn this on, you have to like turn this on. Oh god, I just realised how dark it is. Then again, it's actually quite dark outside as well. Is that a bit better? Oh god, it's very overcast at the moment. Yeah, if you turn the car on first, you have to turn this on within like a second. So if I turn this on with this really bizarre, dodgy power button, then turn this on, it does sync. So that's quite nice. It's a cheap servo, like 13 quid, but it's not too bad for what it is. Yeah, and this one, because it has a different speed controller, does need to have its throttle reversed. So, flip. So now it goes forward. Sometimes, yeah, I find that you do kind of have to adjust the steering sometimes when you go from one car to another. even though I've already adjusted the servo was centered, but it just seems to never kind of be right. And I think maybe the dual rate for the steering needs to go down a bit. So yeah, it's supposed to be centered, but if you look on the arrow, no, it's not centered at all. but yeah, this one also runs. Very nice. Yeah. And of course, you can, and because this one isn't tinted, you can just see it. I do apologise, I will turn that volume down actually, that was a bit too loud. Let's see, turn that off. Okay, turn that off. Oh, they both need to have their steering reversed. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. And now for the body shell for this one, which again, I haven't really done much. It's just kind of... I did try and do a little bit of a repair job on it because there's some bits cut off there, but it's not quite sticking down there. Yeah, I didn't think that would actually survive or last long. Let's take that battery out, or unplug the battery. Tuck that in there. Put this on, which is a lot less of a pain in the bum. Put that there, and that there. And there we go. Ta-da-da! And we'll put this one on. The absolute bloody pain. God. Come on, there we go. There we go. Ha! Yeah. Well, there we go, technically. I do need to take these outside for a quick test, so I will do that at a later date. But I've got no means of recording my RC cars driving around, so I won't be able to take any footage of these. But yeah. But there we have it. That is my somewhat restoration of two Optimas, with parts that I can find. Thankfully, things like the wheels are reproductions, and most other wheels just fit. So, can't really find these shocks anymore unless you're willing to pay over 100 quid. You probably could actually replace them with some other shocks, but you'd have to obviously get the correct length, and you'd have to find some that can actually clear that there. There's quite a tight gap there. So, but yeah, I'm quite pleased with how they have gone. I kind of noticed that this doesn't really fit properly, because that is supposed to be able to slot into a hole that you make here, but it just doesn't go down anywhere near enough, so I'm not quite sure what that's all about. So, yep, there we go. I shall pop these back to the neighbour very soon. Like I said, I just need to take them out for a test, make sure they work. I have a funny feeling at some point that the thread lock in that will break and it'll be left with front wheel drive, in which case there's not really much I can do. I've been trying to find the same sort of rear diff as that, where the drive cups are held on with grub screws. Can't find them. So, yeah, that's... Who's that? Okay, landscaping. Okay. So yeah, not really much I can do about that, unfortunately. If this does lose... I mean, I can keep thread locking it, sure. But, yeah. Anyway, there we go. Restorations, such as they are. I think this was the only original part I was able to find. That's actually by Kyosho. And those battery straps, which I think are also proper Kyosho. A quick note, I did notice after filming the video for the body that I did do those two side stickers wrong. They're supposed to be on the other side. That side there and that side there. This bit on the other sticker is supposed to go across this line here. So I did get those two wrong. If you're going to get this, that bit there goes along that side edge. Just FYI. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. So yeah, they kind of worked. This went kind of better than I thought, I suppose. Yeah, I'll leave it there for now. Hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, kind of a bugger. Definitely don't like Kyosho's. I definitely don't seem to like belt-driven buggies. There's just no space in there. And yeah, the diffs and gearboxes are a monumental pain in the bum. So yeah, probably never want to own one of these. Anyway, thank you for watching. I don't think there's going to be a next video, so this is the end. Part 4, the final part. So hope you enjoyed it. Wasn't really much of an ending, but you know, they're up and running, they're working, and they look considerably better than they did when I first got them a couple of weeks ago. So, and about 200 quid later. Anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, whatever. Enjoy if you like Kyosho's. I'm going to stop talking now because I'm literally just rambling on without knowing how to end this video. So, see you in the next video. Bye.